Hello, and welcome back to the Spiritual Gangster Podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Pieraldi, and today we're talking about something that I think so many people are silently struggling with right now. Living in constant urgency. Like everything feels immediate. Everything feels pressing. Everything feels like it needs your attention right now. Answer the text, reply to the email, fix the problem, figure out your future, heal faster, work harder, move quicker, do more, be more, keep up. Whew. Honestly, a lot of people are not living intentionally anymore. They're living reactively. And there's a difference, because urgency has become so normalized that people mistake it for ambition. They mistake it for productivity. They mistake it for success. But constantly feeling rushed is not the same thing as living purposefully. Living in survival mode long enough can make chaos feel normal. That one hits deep. Because when your nervous system gets used to pressure, slowing down can actually feel uncomfortable. Some people don't even realize how dysregulated they are because they've been operating in urgency for so long. Constant stimulation. Constant notifications, constant pressure, constant multitasking, constant emotional reacting. And eventually your body starts living like everything is an emergency, even when it isn't. I think a lot of people are exhausted, not just because they're busy, but because their mind never fully leaves go mode. There's always something to worry about, something to solve, something to prepare for, something to respond to. And that's not sustainable, because humans were not designed to live every day like we're being chased by a tiger emotionally. But modern life kind of tricks us into it. And social media absolutely amplifies this. Everybody's rushing, grinding, everybody's optimizing their morning routine while drinking green powder and answering emails at 5 a.m. And suddenly people feel guilty for resting. People feel guilty for moving slowly, for being present, for not constantly producing. But I want to say something really important. Urgency and importance are not the same thing. Just because something feels loud doesn't mean it deserves immediate access to your energy. Living intentionally requires discernment, because if you don't decide what matters, everything starts feeling equally important, and then your energy becomes scattered everywhere. I think one of the biggest signs someone is living in urgency instead of intention is when they spend their entire life reacting instead of choosing. Reacting emotionally, reacting digitally, reacting socially, reacting impulsively, instead of actually asking, what kind of life am I intentionally creating? Because intention slows you down enough to become conscious. Urgency speeds you up so much that you stop listening to yourself. That's a huge difference. Some people are so busy trying to stay caught up that they never stop to ask if they even like the life that they're running towards. That one will preach, because society rewards busyness. People wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. How are you? Oh my God, so busy. It's like proof of importance. But constantly being overwhelmed is not evidence that you're living well. Sometimes it's evidence that your nervous system never gets a chance to breathe. And I know life genuinely gets busy sometimes. This isn't about pretending responsibilities don't exist. We all have seasons where life demands more from us. But there's a difference between temporarily experiencing the stress and building an entire lifestyle around chaotic urgency. Because eventually, urgency disconnects you from presence. You stop listening fully in conversations because your brain is multitasking. You stop resting because even while resting, you feel guilty. And honestly, that's not peace. That's survival mode dressed up as productivity. I think intentional living starts with learning how to pause. Not quit. Not give up. Not become unmotivated. Pause. Long enough to ask yourself, why am I rushing? What am I afraid will happen if I slow down? Who taught me that my worth depends on productivity? What actually matters to me? Because sometimes urgency is rooted in fear. fear of falling behind, fear of disappointing people, fear of not being enough, fear of losing control, fear of stillness. A lot of people keep themselves constantly busy because slowing down forces them to actually feel things. That's real. Silence can bring awareness. Stillness can bring clarity. Rest can bring emotions to the surface. And not everybody feels emotionally safe enough for that yet. But healing often begins when we stop outrunning ourselves. Intentional living is deeply connected to presence. It's choosing how you want to move through your life instead of constantly feeling dragged through it. It's being aware of your energy, your time, your priorities, your boundaries, your relationships, your habits, instead of just existing on autopilot. And I think one of the most powerful things you can do is stop treating everything like an emergency. Not every text needs an immediate response. Not every opportunity needs a rushed yes. Not every disagreement needs instant resolution. Not every uncomfortable feeling needs immediate fixing. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is breathe before reacting. That one's important, because emotionally reactive living creates chaos. Intentional living creates space. Space to think, space to regulate, space to choose consciously instead of impulsively. Some of the best decisions are made slowly, not from panic, not from pressure, not from fear, but from alignment. And I think people underestimate how deeply urgency impacts the nervous system. When your body constantly feels pressured, your patience shrinks, your clarity shrinks, your emotional capacity shrinks. Everything starts feeling heavier. And eventually, people become disconnected from themselves because they spent so long operating in performance mode. But your soul was never asking you to rush through your life. Because what's the point of creating a life you never actually get to experience? If every moment is spent racing towards the next thing, you miss your own life while living it. Intentional living often looks less flashy from the outside. It looks slower, more grounded, more conscious, more aligned. It's saying no when necessary, protecting your energy, being fully present with people you love, creating routines that support your nervous system, choosing depth over constant stimulation. And listen, that doesn't mean you stop having goals. You can still be ambitious and intentional. You can still build things, dream big, grow your business, chase meaningful goals. But there's a difference between aligned ambition and frantic urgency. One expands you, the other drains you. I think many people are craving slowness right now. Not laziness, not avoidance, peace. A life that actually feels livable. A nervous system that doesn't constantly feel activated. Moments where they can exhale without guilt. And maybe that's part of the healing journey too. Learning that you don't have to earn rest. You don't have to prove your worth through exhaustion. You don't have to rush your life in order for it to matter. Because urgency often pulls us out of the present moment. But intention brings us back to ourselves. Back to what matters. Back to our values. Back to our intuition. Back to our humanity. Some of the most meaningful moments in life happen slowly. A conversation, a sunset, a deep breath, a healing realization, a peaceful morning, a genuine connection. None of those things can be fully experienced while rushing. And maybe that's the reminder today. You don't have to live every moment in emergency mode. You're allowed to slow down enough to hear yourself again. You're allowed to move with intention instead of panic. You're allowed to create a life that feels grounded instead of constantly urgent. Because your life isn't a race. And healing isn't meant to feel like a punishment. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today on the Spiritual Gangster Podcast. If this episode resonated with you, share it with somebody who needs permission to slow down and reconnect with intentional living. And as always, protect your peace, trust your intuition, slow down enough to hear yourself and your own story. Until next time, keep living like the spiritual gangsters you are.